Welcome everyone to tonight's conversation on mental health in the immigrant communities. Thank you, Katia, for being here today. I'm so glad that you're here and that our viewers are here because we're going to have a really important conversation. My name is Mary Wagner, and I am a Nevada organizer and advocate that works with several organizations here locally and nationally to address issues that affect our communities. Today, we're going to dive into an incredible conversation and very important topic to have, which is mental health, especially within the immigrant community during these challenging times. And joining me today is Katia Sanchez. She is a DACA recipient and licensed mental health specialist. Today we're going to talk about the stigma around mental health in our culture and current policies that are impacting our immigrant communities and how we can protect our mental health well-being. So stick around, and I hope that you guys are able to learn a lot from the conversations that we're going to be having today. I do ask that you guys keep your questions till the end because we are going to hit on different topics around mental health, and we may answer your question while we're at it. So stick around till the end. At the end, I am going to give some time for questions for you guys to feel free to ask us any questions or ask Katia any questions because she's the expert in this conversation. Before we dive in, welcome, Katia. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you can please just tell us a little bit about yourself and your work.
Yes. Esto va a ser like Spanglish because that's what I feel most comfortable with, especially when we're talking about, our Latino community. But I'm a mental health specialist. I work with the Sheriff's Department. I work with the incarcerated population, specifically with women. We do groups in custody, and then once they get out, we continue with case management. And I'm a DACA recipient, and I tell everyone that I'm undocumented because that is the truth of our status here. So, yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your night to be here with us and to answer some of the questions that we may have in the chat later on today. Again, we're going to talk about so many topics around mental health and how it affects our community. So we may answer your questions. So I do ask that you guys hold those questions till the end of the live. So hopefully we're able to answer those while we're having these conversations. I've noticed that many of us we have a cultural and generational barriers that play a big role. Sometimes there's this idea that struggling emotionally means that we're weak. What are some of the ways that families can start to normalize these conversations at home?
Well, the reality is that vulnerability is a strength. And I think for many, many years, our parents, by trying to protect us, wouldn't talk to us about what their struggles were. I think for a lot of us too, who were interpreters for our parents, that was the only way we could find out if they were going through something. But they wouldn't really talk to us necessarily about, in my case, financial struggles. But I know other people who, they had to help their family at very, very young. And my parents had to help their parents at a very young age too while working. So there's no such thing as complaining about our circumstances, right? It's like you just keep going. But I think that what we're seeing right now is the children of these parents are actually talking about feelings. And even though I'm sure it's a struggle for our parents and they're being pushed, I think that in times like this, when our community is being targeted, they really appreciate us standing up for them. For example, I have mis tios, they're documented and they've worked in the fields for many, many years, and they just got laid off. And my little cousin went because they weren't telling her straight up that she was being laid off from the fields. They were like, oh, you can reapply in April, And my cousin went with her mom and was like, like, you're not gonna do us like this. So I think making sure that we're keeping the conversations going with our parents, and I think in the end they're just gonna appreciate us for talking about it. Yeah,
for speaking out. No, I totally agree with you. These past few days have been incredibly challenging for the immigrant community and so many other communities. These and executive orders and actions have created such an uncertainty in our communities. Katia, have you seen this stress manifest in families or individuals during the last few days?
I think it doesn't matter what party you're a part of, what community you're a part of. All of the changes are affecting everyone. You know, the fear of certain rights being taken away, or the fear of things, of change in general. And for all of these new executive orders and the fear of things changing, what does that mean for our community? It's hard enough when one order changes and we have to kind of digest what that would mean. But about all of these orders and what it could mean in different areas and aspects of our life could be really terrifying for some people. But I think that we have to understand that change is inevitable, right? And thinking about change as more of a challenge can make us stronger rather than seeing change as like something debilitating. We're a strong community, and there are many strong communities, and I think together we are even stronger. So I think together we could get through these challenges, and any challenge really.
I love that. I mean, we saw that with one of the most recent actions or executive actions with the freeze of federal funding, and we saw so many communities come together, and that made such a difference that we were able to see results almost immediately. It's really heartbreaking to think about how fear and anxiety from these policies can impact parents and children and extended family members and even other community members. What mental health challenges are most common during these times? Are we seeing things like PTSD, depression, or other conditions?
All of it. All of this can be triggering to your mental health, you know. Anxiety is a big one that I see, panic attacks, delusions too of, you know, more than you know, it can affect your mental health, but it always starts with what we call like negative thinking, or you know, there's different types of negative thinking. There can be blaming, which we're seeing. They could be all or nothing thinking. There could be catastrophizing. You know, we're seeing all of these things. We see a lot of black and white thinking. So it starts with that, and it could definitely continue to affect your mental health if you don't figure out how to get the necessary help to kind of help your thought process so you can change your emotions about things.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. But let's shift to solutions now, because we want to leave our viewers with hope and actionable steps. What are some of the practical ways or things that communities can use to protect their mental health during these uncertain times?
Yeah, I think taking breaks off of social media is a big one. You know, even just yesterday, I was like, I'm not going to be on social media all day, because naturally there's a instant panic or a sense of anxiety to answer to a message, especially when we're seeing something so unjust. You know, you just want to get on there and fight everybody and tell them what you really think. But I think taking a break off social media, taking a break from the news, those are really important things that we can start with. I mean, self-care, self-care everything, which could mean taking a warm bath, walking your dogs, having family time, going for a movie time. Definitely, it's important to disconnect from what is happening. Just because we're not involved for one day, nothing's really going to change. You know, it's okay, especially for the people right now that are influencers and coming on here. And, you know, we're getting verbally attacked. Like, it is insane, really. So for us who are out here in the trenches, you know, people organizing huge events who are getting attacked and threatened, I think it's important that we take our time off because we deserve it. And, you know, it makes us stronger for the next day. So,
Yeah, no, 100%. And I can 100% relate to this. I learned right now to take that time for myself and listen to my body. Sometimes it's a little heartbreaking because there's so much work to do with
yeah,
everything that's happening, not only in the immigrant community, but we're talking about different sectors. We're talking about housing.
yeah,
We're talking about veterans, LGBTQ plus I community. We're talking about
yeah,
all that are being affected left and right, and so many
yeah,
so many people that are working in the community to ensure that we are keeping up with what's going on, that we're organizing our people, that we're educating our people. So I can totally relate to that. I love that you mentioned self-care practices. For example, I've seen how mindfulness and physical activity and staying connected with loved ones can really make a difference. But I know that not everyone knows where to start. Do you have any advice to someone, for someone who feels overwhelmed and doesn't yet have that strong support system yet?
Yes, I think it's a good time to reach out. I think it's a good time. It could be church, it could be a yoga class, it could be finally making that appointment to get a counselor or a therapist. It it could be, I mean, I'm always open if anyone ever needs to talk to me. I'm always open, and especially the undocumented community, if you have anybody that needs that support, I'm here, no charge, and I'll do the best that I can with the time that I can. So also, it is really important that we know that um, there are nonprofit communities, like, for example, clinics and community clinics that work based on a sliding scale. So if you don't make any money at all, or you make very little money, that's kind of what you'll get charged, or maybe you won't have to pay. And so you can check that out in your communities anytime there's community clinics. There's also, you can go online right now and just put free therapy, and you'll get all of these different apps that come up where, at least you'll get some, they're giving you the first consultation free, but there are others that you can get at no cost. Yeah, there's a lot of support right now.
I love that. I love that. And I just recently went to an event 2-3 days ago. Right now, my days are blurring. A local organization here that's going to start taking pro bonos clients, especially right now with our immigrant community and everything that's going on. So if you can look for resources, and if you don't know how to find these resources, a lot of times it's just getting close to organizations in your community that are already doing the work. If they don't provide those resources, they may be able to connect you with another organization that's able to provide those resources, like you, low cost or at no cost at all, depending on the situation.
And let me tell you, sometimes, sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes it's just about empowering, because sometimes we say, like, oh, we don't know where to find it, but just how we Google how to get, Facebook and Instagram on our phone, it's as easy as that. And it's, we have to empower our community to be self-sufficient in that way. That it's scary, yes, but it's a challenge, right? And we can learn how to overcome these challenges. And I think learning how to get information and not just the chisme is a really good time. This is a good time, to do this. And sí podemos, nuestra gente puede. Somos inteligentes, hay ayuda en español. Si en español le haces a Google, todos sabemos lo que es Google, ahí vas a encontrar. Pero if there's people that want information based on the community that they're in, they could just send me a message, and I'm more than happy to do the research as well.
Perfect. Thank you. No, I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that's really going to appreciate that assistance, because we are very self-sufficient, but there is times where our anxiety can take over, or whatever stressful situation we got going on. We're going to move towards the end of this live, but before we do, I want to open up the chat for questions. If we have not yet answered your question, or if you need a little bit more information about the topics that we spoke about today during this live, please feel free to go ahead and put those comments in the live. And while we do that, Katia, someone seeking therapy, important to find a therapist or a counselor that understands your cultural needs and your linguistic needs. Why do you think that is very important?
I think we're seeing that a lot of people are very ethnocentric, and it can happen as well in therapy. I don't want to discourage people from trying it anyways. You may not find the right therapist for you at the first time, but you could be really surprised, right? You could be. So, not everyone is culturally sensitive, I will say that. But I think that within the professional community of mental health, there is plenty of studies stating that we all need to move more to being ethno-relative and being culturally competent, because we live, luckily, I mean, we live in California. We're very multicultural here, and if mental health professionals want to have a successful career, they're going to need to be more ethnos, be more culturally competent. So
I like that. Thank you for breaking that down for us. I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any questions right now. Again, if you happen to have any questions on the topics that we spoke about tonight, or any questions that maybe we didn't answer while we were having this conversation, please feel free to type that into the chat, so we can give Katia some time to answer those questions before we go. And while we're doing that, Katia, I really want to thank you, because I know that you have a lot going on in your own personal life. But I appreciate the fact that you're so open about your status. You're so open with our Latino community. You're so open in helping us. If you guys have not yet followed Katia, please do so. She always has words of encouragement and stuff like that in her chat or in her page. Again, thank you for joining us today. I don't see any questions right now in the chat, so I'm guessing we probably answered all the questions, or there is no questions at the moment. So again, I want to thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your insights with us tonight. Do you happen to have any final words of encouragement,
yes,
or any for folks that are watching tonight before we let everyone go?
I just want to thank you for, I mean, you're a mom, you're an advocate, I see you all over just doing your best. And, it's beautiful to see an ally. It's beautiful to see that people who have been, got the opportunity to be documented here, or who were born here, and just to see the support for our community is great. It makes me really emotional to see all the work that you're doing. Thank you. And everything you do is, I'm really grateful for it.
Thank you. You're gonna make me cry.
Stop.
Thank you so much. No, thank you. I honestly, it's a hard work, but I love it. I'm so thankful to be in a position where I'm able to use my voice. I'm able to use my platform. I'm able to connect with my people. I know what it's like to be undocumented, so I know the level. No, I'm getting emotional.
No, stop. We're going through it, girl, but we're gonna get through it.
But we're here. So thank you for acknowledging that, and it's definitely my pleasure to do so. I feel like this is the time for us to unite. This is the time for us to roll up our sleeves. It's the time for us to together and work together as a community, and several communities to come together, because together we're a lot stronger. Again, I want to thank everyone that joined the live today. Thank you for being here, and remember that you're not alone, and there is no shame in asking for help. If you need the help, ask for it. That's what we're here for. Let's normalize mental health conversations in our home, in our communities, out in public. It's really important to acknowledge the fact that sometimes life gets stressful, but we're going to make it through. In my mind, I tell myself every day, this is a storm, and storms come and go. So it's very important for us to stick together. And again, I want to thank everyone that joined the live. Thank you, Katia, again, for taking that time out of your night to be here with us. And someone's asking in the chat, ¿cuándo pueden hacer un taller presencial?
We could get together.
Can definitely come together, and we can do that. And of course, we'll share that information with you guys as soon as we have it. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you guys have a wonderful night. Take care of yourself. Take care of your take care of yourself, because
bless you all. This is the time to reach out to your higher power, whether it be trees, whether it be the universe, whether whatever it is, Buddha, whatever, Diosito. This is the time to reach out, because we, sometimes this is way bigger than one person alone, and having community is wonderful, but also being able to lean on our higher power is really important. So 100%. Thank you.
I totally agree. Thank you so much, and you guys have a wonderful night. Los quiero mucho. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye. Thank you. Te cuidas.
Igual.